Well, Mets fans, it's almost that time of year as spring training draws to a close. We need to talk about some of the people who are doing really well and maybe some of the players who are not doing so well. What kind of impact could it have on our New York Mets heading into 2025? Who should get a shot? Who is playing better than what we expected coming in? And who's going to get those final two rotation spots? We're going to break down all of that and much more next on MetCast. What's going on, Met fans? And man, am I excited. Spring training is almost over. Feels like it's been going on for forever. Everybody that follows this channel knows that I was there back in February. It is now March 18th or 19th. Next Thursday's opening day against the Houston Astros. Enough. We've seen a ton of the Juan Soto headlines. Guys performing, guys not performing so much, but it's really going to be interesting to see how this actually shakes up. And I'm not going to get into everybody. We saw Daniel Nunez pitch yesterday, topping out at 98 miles an hour, looking great. And one awesome thing to see was obviously Jonah Tung, one of the Mets' prime young prospects who might be up as early as next year, touching 98.5 miles an hour on the gun or 98 miles an hour. He's throwing hard. It's good to see because he was not one of those prospects that we expected to be a hard thrower coming up through the system. Probably was going to be around a 93, 94 tops guy, but it looks like he might be a guy that actually tops out 97, 98. It's going to be really interesting to see if his frame can actually hold on to that miles per hour. He is not the biggest of guys. We also saw Nolan McLean throwing a wiffle ball out there, which was great to see. And obviously Brandon Sproat topping out 98, 99 miles an hour in spring training. These guys are all, though, going to be starting down at AA and AAA. So I want to get to the major league roster, obviously outside of Daniel Nunez, who's guaranteed to be a lock on this team and hopefully play a big role, maybe be that seventh or eighth inning guy next to AJ Minter to lead to Edwin Diaz. But I want to get into the back end of the rotation first before getting to the second base position. Obviously, we all know the last two spots are pretty much between Tyler McGill, Paul Blackburn, and Griffin Canning. And Griffin Canning, man, I killed that signing, and I guess we'll have to wait to see what actually happens throughout the season to see what's going to happen. But he has put up some great statistics, and we made a graphic for it and posted on X. Let's take a look. So here are Griffin Canning's stats throughout spring training. I mean, you can't really ask for anything better. 10 innings pitched, 6 hits, only 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 17 strikeouts. Now, let's not forget, he's only a year removed from having a solid season. But last year, he was cut and literally nobody wanted him. So I was kind of killing the move coming out into the offseason. But I did say time and time again, David Stearns is known for saying, you know what? I see something in that pitcher right there. I see something in that player. If we tweak this or that or added this pitch to their arsenal, or if they start getting around the ball a little bit better, they would be better. The Mets pitching lab continues to show up time and time again. And this may be another one of those situations where the New York Mets get a solid steal at $4.5 million for Griffin Canning, who I think is right now a lock to get the 4th spot in this rotation. Obviously, you have the David Petersons, the Kodai Sengas, the Shaw Manaeas once he's back, and we'll see what ends up happening out with Montas. Who knows with him? But let's be honest, he's an absolute lock to make this rotation. So the 5th spot is really between Tyler McGill and Paul Blackburn. And many people have made the assumption that just because Tyler McGill has one option left in his contract, which means he can get sent down without having to clear waivers, that he's going to be a lock to start out in AAA. But from some people that I've spoken to around the Mets and some of the reporters that we've actually had here on the show, they're suggesting that either Blackburn or McGill might actually start out this season in the bullpen. I think it might actually be Blackburn, with McGill getting the first crack at that 5th starter spot. We all know in a perfect reality, the New York Mets would much prefer to have a 6-man rotation with a healthy Kodai Senga. It would take everybody's innings down a little bit, allow Kodai Senga that extra day of rest. So that would be perfect. But with the built-in off days, the New York Mets would not need a 6 starter for a pretty long time. So it's good to see that. Also, with Sean Manaea going to be coming back, hopefully in the near future, that also is going to stretch out the rotation. So it's really pretty much a tryout. What I'm thinking, Paul Blackburn, Tyler McGill, and Griffin Canning. If one of those guys don't work out, which odds are is going to happen, when Sean Manaea comes back, that's when we're going to be looking to either add one of them to the bullpen, or maybe if McGill's struggling, you could send him down to the minors. But that's what we're thinking about with that situation. Now I want to head over to the second base situation and give you guys my final prediction in regard to who's going to be starting at second base and who really deserves it. Let's take a peek. Okay, folks, so us over at MetCast, we posted this today. These are live stats as of today. Brett Baty and Luis Angel Acuña, their stats throughout spring. And yes, I actually think this might be one of the position battles where we actually are going to be looking at the spring stats, because we heard coming into the year, outside of McNeil getting injured, which now he is injured, that there would be a competition and at second base. And right now the stats are not even close. And yes, we got to take into defensive efficiency into consideration. But if we're solely going off of offense, which I know a lot of fans like to, I don't, because I, for one thing, know that David Stearns values that defense over the middle. But let's take a look. You have similar at bats. Brett Baty's got 5 more at bats, but he's hitting 304 compared to 265, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs compared to 2. But the big thing in the difference is, and what matters today, is that OPS. A 910 OPS, which would be well above all-star level OPS for Brett Baty, and only a 600 OPS for Luis Angel Acuña. And that's one thing that would make me nervous, having him start at second base, because let's be honest, he came up last year and he had a good run for the New York Mets. But in all honesty, I think that, that big of a disparity in OPS could be really big in favor of Brett Baty. Even though Acuña came up last year and was good in the postseason, he was awful in the minor leagues, and many scouts didn't believe that his bat's going to translate. Another thing we need to take into consideration is Brett Baty's going to be 25 years old, or is 25 years old, where Acuña has plenty of options and plenty of time to develop down in AAA or at the major league level. That's what's going to be very, very interesting, and something that you and I both need to watch. Is Acuña, I don't think, is 100% a lock to actually make this team, regardless of the injury to Jeff McNeil, where they were fighting for the last spot. I think that the New York Mets would prefer either Baty or Acuña to stick, one to be here and one to be down in AAA, because they're going to want them to be getting full-time at-bats. Now, you can make an easier justification for Brett Baty to be up at the major league level, getting part-time at-bats because of his age, but you're not going to want a guy like Acuña, who's 22, 23 years old, getting part-time playing time at the major league level. Now onto the defensive metrics. Clear as day, Acuña blows Brett Baty out the water when it comes to defense. It's very clear. Brett Baty looks a little shy at second base. He's going to take time getting used to, but I'm interested to see if the New York Mets, if they're planning on having Brandon Nimmo DH a ton at the beginning of the year, that's where you could justify Acuña starting at second base, because he is the right-handed at-bat, not like Baty, because you're going to be adding most likely Jesse Winker to this lineup in left field to cover for Brandon Nimmo. So you're adding a lefty, Nimmo's a lefty, and then you would have Baty, who's a lefty. So 3 lefties right alone there. I'm not too sure how much I would play out in our lineup, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Who should be the opening day second baseman? I actually am leaning a little towards Brett Baty right now. I think defense, it's going to be really crucial to see how he plays over this next week, if he's looking more comfortable at second base. I would personally take Brett Baty, but I will say this. I think David Stearns would lead toward Luis Angel Acuña, because if McNeil comes back and Acuña is playing okay, he could be your backup shortstop, your backup third baseman, your backup second baseman, maybe get a little bit of playing time in left field. Also, he could be that late game defensive substitution or pinch runner, which could be so valuable in today's game, especially when you're talking about a division like the New York Mets are in, obviously with the Phillies and the Braves, that are going to probably be very close and might come down to those little things right there. But let me know again what you guys think down in the comments. Again, if it was me, I would give Brett Baty the first crack, probably give him the first month of the season, depending on when McNeil comes back. He might be back 2 weeks in, and then really I would take Brett Baty, because I want Acuña down in the minor leagues, getting full-time at at-bats. But again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And if you're enjoying this content, make sure you like and subscribe. Turn that notification bell on so you never miss an upload. Dan and I will be coming at you with a new live, coming up with some special guests. Again, we will be live streaming on the day of opening day. I will have the game behind me, obviously the sound off so we don't get copyrighted, but come watch the game with us. We'll be hanging out. We'll be doing some giveaways. And as always, thanks for sticking around, and let's go Mets. Take care.